Hello, gathered friends. This is Spider, and welcome back to another review. Now, last August, I took a look at half of the original Toa Mata team, so now it's time for the rest of the team, starting with the Lego Bionicle Gali, which is set number 8533 and released back in 2001. So, to get this started, we'll take a look at the packaging. So, here we have the canister on the front here. It's got some stuff telling you about the set. You got a Lego Technic. The front there, you got a nice image of Gali looking all nice and watery, climbing on a cliff. You got Bionicle there. You got the name of the character. You got some stuff telling you about the set. You got the barcode. And you got this cool thing where when you slide this sleeve, you go through all the different characters you can get, which is really cool. Over here, kind of shows you the origin of the Toa, how they work, and all that, which is really neat. They really compacted quite a bit of neat little stuff in this canister. Up top here, you get the bionicle head and 6 slots to put different things in. You get the bottom. That's pretty much it for that. Next up we have the instructions. You get a better look at that image of Gali, and it looks very, very nice. Obviously it tells you how to build the figure, but not only that, it also tells you how to build their combined form. These are the 3 Toa you need to build that, and once I finish reviewing all the Toa, I will be covering their combined form. Then you get back, and that's pretty much it. That, onto the figure. And here we have Gali, who was the first member of the original Toa team that I ever got. And to get things started, we'll take a look at the articulation. And not really much of it, so this should go by pretty quick. There's nothing really at the head. The arm can go up, go forward that much and go back that much. Can't really go out. It's a ball joint, so it can rotate all over the place. The leg can't really kick all that far forward or back, but it can go out pretty far. Obviously ball joint, so it can rotate. Foot, up, down, a little bit of an ankle tilt all around because ball joint. So yeah, not a lot of articulation on this figure, but then again, I don't really think they were focusing on articulation. I think their main focus was the play features during this point in Bionicle. It wasn't until later that they started focusing on articulation, which makes sense because that's kind of how toys worked in general. Like, the further back in time you go, it seems like they focus more on like gimmicks and play features. I think now is like really the only time toys have focused almost exclusively on articulation, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's interesting. But speaking of those play features, what they can do is you get this little gear on the back here. You get those gears attached to the arms, which allows you to swing their arms and their weapons. Yeah, they can actually swing both arms, just like Onua, instead of just the one arm like Tahu. So yeah, that is pretty cool, but it also makes it so that the arms are always connected to each other. So if you move one, it's always going to move the other, and if you just move it at the joint, you always have to like balance it. So that can be a little frustrating, but there is a way to kind of change that. But I'll talk more about that later, because now we're going to be talking about the details. So at the head here, she has got a nice translucent mask, and is the only Toa of the original team to have a translucent mask. And also, yes, Gali is a she, and she is the only lady of the original Bionicle team. You can take the mask off. See the head underneath, same as all the other Toas. She's got some nice yellow eyes, but some people have complained about, saying the yellow doesn't really match with the blue that the rest of the figure is. And I used to agree, but honestly, now looking at it, I think the yellow actually works really well. It's a nice contrast, and it really pierces through the blue mask. I think it especially looks cool when you bring out a light source and you shine it through like that. That looks really cool. So I actually really like the color choice they did for the eyes. You get this little hand connector piece for the chest armor, which honestly looks a bit better than just this little ball that the other Toa had. It makes more sense. It looks more like armor. It covers more space than just a singular orb. That was kind of weird. You got the arms, which... Oops, bumped the camera. Same piece that Tahu and I think Onua had, so that's not new. But this claw is new. So you can see that, and that's pretty cool. You got the main body piece, which again is pretty much the same as all of the others. At the legs, and they do have little pegs on either side of it, which I believe the main reason those are there is just so they have the pieces for the combined form. I think that's the only reason that's there. And you get the legs. And she and Onua are actually the only two Toa of the original team to have the thicker part of the leg facing up instead of down. So that's interesting. And you got typical Toa feats. And then you get the back with the nice gear. Unfortunately, some of these pieces have started to crack, which is a little sad, especially since these pieces are getting rarer and rarer as the days go by. Unfortunately, one of the legs has also gotten pretty loose. I don't know how that even happened, but so you can see like that, the top of that kind of cracked, so she can't, it comes off really easily. That isn't a lot of fun. Not too happy about that, but not much you can do about it these days. But anyways, design is pretty good, and the blue and light blue do a good job of invoking her element, which is water. The mask also does a good job of kind of like resembling almost like a scuba mask, so that's pretty cool. And overall, even though there's not really that much changed with the design, I think they did a good job of making it look a little more feminine than the other designs did. Or maybe I just associate it with Gali so much that it just kind of looks feminine by proxy. Either way, good design. I like it. Alright, now that we are done with the details, we can talk about some adjustments that you can actually make to this figure to help with articulation. One of them is very simple. Since Gali is supposed to be in the water and swimming, obviously there's no joint in the head, so you can't look up, but there is a separate little port there you can plug the axle into to have her looking up. So you can do that for swimming poses. And that's just pretty cool. Another mod that you can do is to make it so that the arms don't have to be so loose. You can kind of tighten them up. And there's a few different ways you can do, but my personal favorite is by using these pieces. These, my camera will focus on it. There we go. These half peg, half, well, it just fell. The half peg, half axle pieces. Basically what you do, you take the arm, you remove that, and then you plug that in that way, and that will allow you to move the arm and make the leg pop off, apparently. Gotta hold that in place. It'll give the arm the freedom to just kind of move it however you want. So yeah, that's my favorite way to give the arm independent articulation without the gear. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about was you can actually get this mask in multiple different colors. And the most special color you could get is the golden mask, which I have right here. So yeah, this was the mask they got that would give them a bunch of like upgraded power and stuff. It's pretty cool. So pop her old mask off and get this new one on there. And I like that it's still vaguely translucent, so you can still see her eyes peering through that visor there. That's really cool. So yeah, get Gali with her golden mask. Oh, also, by the way, something funny I thought I should mention. Her mask is called the Cow Cow. That's a funny name. Anywho, that's all I've got to say. On to size comparisons. Also, there was a couple things I forgot to mention, which is why I'm recording it after the fact. Due to the way the tip of her arm is shaped, she can actually hold on to a mask. That's pretty cool. Also, her weapon can kind of clip onto her hip like that. I don't know if that was intended, but it's a neat little thing you can do. Alright, that is all. Put your arm down. So, to start things off, as always, here it is with a Lego minifigure, with the Pack Destruction minifigure Mothra, and the Pack Destruction minifigure Godzilla. On to some more relevant size comparisons. Here she is with her brother Tahu, her other brother Onua, and her other brother Pohatu. And finally, here she is with the previous review, the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Homecoming homemade suit. Had trouble setting him up there for a second. Anyways, now that we're done with all that, it's measuring time. So get this measuring tape out. And you see, she is a little over 6.5 inches tall. So pretty decent height. So that is pretty much it for the original Toa Mata Gali. And overall, I think she's still pretty neat. It is limited in some areas, but honestly, I still had a lot of fun with her as a kid. And if you wanted this for yourself on eBay, it's going for around 30 to 50 bucks, which is a lot of clams. That's not cheap, which is why I only really recommend you go after like the original Bionicle figures if you are more, you're more hardcore fan. Not hardcore, but like you're more of a serious fan rather than just someone getting into it, because yeah, they're kind of expensive, especially when these things were only like, I think around $7 originally. Hey, if only we could go back to those days. But ignoring the price, it's still a neat, fun figure. Just too expensive nowadays, and it's only going to get more expensive as the days go by, as they get rarer and rarer, and more people keep, buying them and then keeping them. Yeah. But anyways, that's all I've got to say for this review. Kind of ended in a little bit of a downer there. My apologies. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you all enjoyed. See you later. Sayonara. Bye.